latest from Oak 93.5. I'm nowcast meteorologist Matthew Harding.
Hello, Raleigh, North Carolina. Hello, Raleigh, North Carolina. This is the RDU Live show right here on Oak 93.5 WRLY. And I'm your host, Cameron McCarty. If you're in the Raleigh area and you're tuned in on your FM dial, hey, go ahead and buckle up. It's cold. It's a little bit rainy and foggy, so buckle up. Make sure you're staying safe. If you're out there watching on one of the streams on YouTube or Facebook, I appreciate you for tuning in. We're here every Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. right here, locked and loaded. We got a pretty good show for you today. Got a couple topics, couple things to talk about. Our special guest is not in studio with us. We're going to have him call in and talk with us for a little bit later on in the show. Got a couple tracks to play for him. That's going to be a really good part of the show because we got a couple things to introduce, couple things to talk about, to let you know what's going on, what's coming up as it pertains to this RDU Live show. So thank you for tuning in. Let's go ahead and get into this thing. So for the first part of the show, this show is a call-in show, right? For the first part of it, I want you to call in and let's have a conversation. That number is 919-899-9305. That's 919-899-9305. I want you to call in. If you hear something to talk about that you want to talk about, want to chime into the conversation, go ahead and call in. But so for the first part of the show, as we normally do, we like to talk about things that are relevant to what's going on today, what's going on in the community. One thing that I want to talk about right here at the top, just to give us a quick second, a quick moment to a very important person, a fellow by the name of Aaron Spears. Aaron Spears. He's a drummer. He's a musician, not necessarily from the Triangle area, but just really known in the music community. He was a drummer for Usher, Ariana Grande, had some tracks with Chaka Khan, even James Brown. But he passed away. He passed away yesterday, I want to say. And just wanted to give this moment to pay a little respect to him. I actually just found out about it a couple hours ago, earlier this morning. But yeah, he was very influential in the music community, and he died at the young age of 47. Young age of 47. We don't know the cause or anything like that. The family's kind of keeping that close. And that's neither here nor there. But yeah, just a very influential person in the music community in America in general. And a young soul at 47. He passed away. So just kind of giving that respect there right here at the top of the show, because the show is rooted in music. The show is rooted in music, and that's what we're talking about a lot. So just wanted to put that note out there. So kind of moving on from there is another topic that I want to actually open up as a conversation. I think we all know today is October 31st. October 31st in these United States is Halloween. It just so happens if you're in the Raleigh-Durham area right now, it's like a cold, gloomy, it's been like raining, not like hard rain, but it's like this misty rain that's happened all day. It's a very interesting time. It's been a full moon the last couple days. And if I don't know if I'm the only one, but things have been happening. Some strange, interesting things have been happening over the last 48 hours, 72 hours. Some very strange things. So I get it. But the conversation and the question that I want to pose here is simply, do you celebrate Halloween? It's a very simple question. And it especially pertains to us here in the Triangle, because I don't know if you're watching on the live stream, you can see my hoodie today is the NC State hoodie. I'm a proud NC State alumni. Go Pack! We just had homecoming weekend, all that good stuff. And if you know anything about these colleges around here, it's a pretty big deal. The bar crawls, all that good stuff. They're going to close Franklin Street down. It happens every year. It's a pretty big deal. When I was back in college, I participated in some of those festivities, but not necessarily because I celebrate Halloween. So I'll go ahead and raise my hand and start the conversation off with, I don't particularly celebrate Halloween as a thing. Even when I was participating in the bar crawls, it's more so for the alcohol, to be honest with you. But I didn't dress up. I never wore a costume. And that was in college. But growing up, I never participated in Halloween, never did the trick or treat thing. One could say, I grew up in a pretty religious household, a Christian-based household that, we went to church and practiced all the Christian things. And so Halloween was not one of those. I was kind of listening to the history I'm 32 now, and I always like to go back and listen to why do you believe the things that you believe? And, the concept of it being, a pagan holiday, the Celtic celebration, and, how they were celebrating the dead and all this good stuff. And then the Christians came along and they said, no, we're not going to do that. So you fast forward till today. And, the Christian church doesn't really celebrate Halloween. It's the concept of celebrating goons and goblins and witches and pitchforks and dressing up as the devil, right? And so you grow up and you grow up not really celebrating Halloween. I don't. And even to this day, I don't. I have a soon-to-be 4-year-old daughter. Luckily for her mother, is kind of big into the trunk or treats and the pumpkins and the jack-o'-lanterns and stuff. So she's getting that experience, but she's not getting it from her father. She's not getting it from her father. So I'm glad she's not getting deprived, as some people have said that I'm doing. I've been having this conversation for the last week or so about Halloween, about Halloween. And like I just said earlier, there's been some strange things that have happened to me over the last 72 hours. I don't know if it's the full moon. I don't know if it's Halloween. I don't know if it's just, I don't believe in zodiac signs either. So I don't know if it's, what is it, we're Capricorns now or something? I don't know. They were talking about birthdays earlier. Shout outs to the show before, Candid Conversations. They had a whole bunch of birthday shout outs that they just did at the end of the show. They're always talking about good stuff. But, well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. So I'm not superstitious per se, and I don't celebrate Halloween, but I cannot lie to you. There's been some very interesting things that have happened. I work in production on a normal basis, and we've had some microphone dropouts. We've had some weird things that really we can't explain. Really, we can't explain in a technical sense that have been happening. People have been driving crazy. I think people drive crazy every day. But yeah, people have been driving crazy, and I don't know. Dogs been barking at weird times. Maybe it's the full moon. Or maybe it's Halloween. I don't know. But yeah, so today is that day. And I will say, if you do celebrate Halloween, good for you. Do your thing. But first and foremost, be safe. Be safe. I know there's a lot of Halloween parties that are happening, a lot of costume parties, whatever you want to dress it up as. All puns intended. Whatever you want to dress it up as. Be safe. Be safe out there on these bar crawls. Be safe in your consumption of your beverages. Just be safe in general in this particular time. And also, it's cold outside. Put some clothes on. Hey, we got somebody that wants to talk about Halloween. Let's see what they got talking about. Hold on just a second. Hello, caller. This is the RDU Live Show. I'm your host, Cameron McCarty. Who am I speaking with?
Hi, Cameron. My name is Tamika, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. Tamika, what's going on?
Hi, you were talking about Halloween, and you mentioned being from a Christian background and all that, and so I grew up in a very similar background where, initially we did, like when I was a little girl, we dressed up and all that, went out trick or treating. But as I got older and I began to realize just the history of the night and who basically arises in celebration of Halloween. As a believer, I don't celebrate it. You find that many Satanists, really, this is kind of their night. Many people who practice witchcraft and sorcery and things of that nature. So for me, those are some of the reasons why I don't celebrate it, and it's quite similar. I mean, you have you got people that are of other religions. You have Satanists that don't celebrate the resurrection, and so as a believer, I don't celebrate Halloween. It's something, again, as I was growing up, more so in my youth, where it began to be something that was forbidden within our household, where we couldn't go out trick-or-treating and dressed up and all of that stuff. So kind of, year after year, I began to learn more about it and see, different things that take place. And so it's something that I chose not to celebrate, and I didn't. My daughter's an adult now, but I didn't engage her in it either.
Yeah, no, I thank you for, even going further into it. That's exactly how I kind of grew up. And, even to this day, how I see it from that standpoint of, some Satanists do. This is like their holiday that they want to, do their thing, which, whatever. But, as a believer or whatever, do you partake in that same holiday, in that same holiday? And good points. Now, I have a question for you. I do have a question for you. So to those that say, oh, it's just a day. We're not Satanists. We're not Satanists.
Right,
it's just a day for us to have a costume party and our kids to eat candy. We're not celebrating Satan. We just want to put a costume on and eat candy. How do you wrestle with that? How would you wrestle with that?
Yeah, I have gotten into some very, very intense discussions with friends who do celebrate it. And one of the scriptures that I think about when I think about the celebration, it's nothing in the biblical text. It references Halloween because it came centuries after, of course, the biblical text was even written. But something that comes to mind to me is 2 Corinthians 6:14, be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers, for what fellowship have righteousness with unrighteousness, and what communion hath light with darkness. And so that's something that comes to mind when I think about, what takes place tonight. Now, you think about a little kid dressed up in a little angel outfit, knocking on the door, saying trick or treat, you give him candy. Nothing necessarily is harmful about that, but what we have to do is look at the bigger picture and think about all that takes place on today, all that will take place going even into the night tonight, and whether or not it is conducive for us to involve ourselves in that.
Wow. You took us to church real quick on that one. I appreciate that. You came. That's a very intelligible way to articulate that. I appreciate that. Thank you, Tamika. Thank you. Anything
You're
else
welcome.
Anything else you want to tell the people about Halloween or just in general?
I would just say, if you're out and you're celebrating and doing what you do on Halloween, definitely be careful, be mindful. That's, I would say certainly be safe and be mindful of your surroundings.
Thank you so much.
Because I know that people do really, do it big today and choose to celebrate. So certainly be careful out there.
Be careful. Hey, Tamika, I appreciate you for calling in. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Have a great evening.
You do the same.
Thank you.
So we had Tamika call in. She came from a very Christian standpoint. She was quoting scripture for us to take heed to, and everybody has their own beliefs and all that, and that's fine. But that was a very intelligible way to articulate that. I'm gonna say it like that. What is it? Don't be yoked with unbelievers and all that. I think, you take that to a very broad concept when we're talking about Halloween. I really appreciate that standpoint. Okay. And so the next thing that she brought up, the conversation I've been having, is the trick or treat portion of this. The trick or treat portion. There's this new thing out called trunk or treat. Trunk or treat. It's where you kind of come together and you open your trunks up, and I guess you have like instead of going door to door, it's more of a party kind of concept, which I actually am more in tune with. I'm still not a big Halloween celebrator. I don't do the costumes and all the pumpkins and all that. But if we're just talking about, hey, the kids want to, eat candy, let's just go there. I feel some type of way about kids going door to door, knocking on random people's homes. I feel some type of way about that. Now, I grew up in Jackson, Mississippi. If you're ever familiar, you're going to hear me say it multiple times. It's, it has its areas, and most of the areas are that, or a little, you got to be careful where you're going. So that's my background there. But just in general, no matter where you are, how affluent the neighborhood, not affluent, doesn't matter. I don't want my child going up to a random person's doorstep. I don't. And maybe community is different. Maybe if you know everyone in your community, maybe if it's, I'm actually on the board of my HOA, right? I'm on the board of my HOA in my community. So I try to stay a little bit involved and know what's going on. But the bigger the community, or maybe there's not a HOA, maybe the community isn't necessarily together. It's a collection of homes and people that live next to each other. I don't know if I want my child, even myself, I don't want to go knock on somebody's door in the middle of the day on a Wednesday at noon. I don't want to go knock on somebody's door. I don't know these people. I don't know what they got in their house. So I ain't trying to have my kid out past dark knocking on somebody's door with a mask on. I got to call her. Somebody talk to me about this. Hold on just one second. Hello, this is the RDU Live Show. I'm your host, Cameron McCarty. You are on the air. Who do I have the pleasure of speaking with?
Hi, Cameron. How are you?
Doing pretty good. Who's this?
This is Rachel. I'm from Greensboro. I called last time.
Rachel from Greensboro. Rachel,
yes.
Thank you for calling last time, and thank you for calling again. You are a fan favorite, actually.
Thank you for having me. I was just tickled to death that y'all answered my question. It was amazing.
Yeah. What you got for us today?
Now, is Kamus there?
He is not here in the studio. He'll actually be calling in a little bit later in about 10, 15 minutes. We're going to have him, we're going to have him talking.
I was too early. What are we talking about right now?
Right now, we're talking about Halloween. Do you celebrate Halloween? What are you doing? How do you feel about it?
I did celebrate Halloween, but not today. I celebrated it earlier on Saturday.
Okay. Do you do the whole dressing up thing? Is that a part of what you do?
I did. Did you?
No, this is what we were talking about. I actually don't celebrate Halloween like that. I don't do the costumes and all that good stuff.
Okay.
We're just having a conversation about it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. There's a lot of different opinions about it,
Uh-huh.
and that's absolutely okay. We're entitled to do whatever we want, spend our lives however we want, do whatever, wear whatever we want, as long as we don't hurt people.
As long as we don't hurt people. Rachel, you sound like a really good person. You sound like a really good person.
I try to be. I really do. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. No, yeah. If you're looking for Kamus, you called in a little bit early. He's going to be on maybe in about 10 to 15 minutes or so. We're going to get him on here. And I'm going to give a teaser here. I'm going to give a teaser because you called in and you're a special guest. You are now a special guest, Rachel, because you're a fan favorite.
Goodness. Thank you.
Thank
you.
I'm going to give a teaser. Actually, Kamus will be the host next week. We'll be hosting the whole hour. The whole hour.
Oh, wow. That's a long time.
Yeah. He'll be the sit-in host. I actually won't be here. He'll be the host. He'll have full control of the show. So definitely want you to call back in and have another conversation with Kamus.
Absolutely. That would be so fun.
Yeah, so thank you very much for calling in. I just appreciate hearing your voice again. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Maybe I'll call back later, okay, and try to catch him. Have a great one.
Sounds good. You do the same. Thank you.
Bye.
So that was Rachel from Greensboro. If you didn't know, if this is your first time listening or you didn't listen to that episode, Rachel had a very interesting question last time. So Kamus, we know he's going to be on in a few minutes from now, but he's actually been on the show before. Rachel called in and had a very interesting question that became a fan favorite, the question. So if you want to see that, go ahead to the YouTube channel and you can go back and watch that episode of Kamus Leonardo. I want to say that was like September 17th, maybe somewhere in there. Rachel called in and she makes pretty good conversation. But yeah, I was talking about the trick-or-treating concept, and just going to different people's houses late at night, and just not my thing. But the new wave of Halloween is trunk or treat, where you necessarily like go, let's just say a big parking lot, and everybody kind of pulls up, backs in, opens their trunk, and there's candy, and the kids go around. I do know that churches for years now, they have their alternative. I grew up with Hollyween. Meaning, on a night like tonight, you go to the church. You still dress up, kids. It's like a big costume party, and they go in and they eat candy, and there's bouncy houses. I know some churches in the area that do like what they call a harvest fest during this time, where it's the same concept. You come in with your costumes and you eat, and the kids eat candy, and there's probably food for adults and all that good stuff. So alternatives, concepts, general idea, who knows? As Rachel said, long as you're not hurting anybody, long as you're being safe, as Tamika said, long as you're being safe, long as you're not hurting anybody, who really cares? Honestly, celebrate what you want to celebrate, have fun how you want to have fun. But keep it safe. It's October 31st. It's Halloween. And the question right now, before we get into Kamus, the question is, do you celebrate it? Do you celebrate Halloween? So kind of just having this conversation, having this concept of things. If you're in the area and you're a sports fan, and you're watching any of the colleges, once again, if you're watching on the stream, you can see that I have an NC State hoodie on. And you're interested in football games and any of that, go ahead and call in. I would love to have that kind of conversation as well, since it is football season, about any of the colleges. But right now, we're talking about Halloween. We're talking about, all the festivities that go around it, the Franklin Street bar crawl, the Hillsborough bar crawl, and any other costume party that's arising itself in the last, 48 hours, 72 hours. There's something somewhere. This is a call-in show right now, right this moment. The number, if you want to call in, you're trying to figure out, hey, I have a opinion. That number is 919-899-9305. 919-899-9305. And I will say, we're going to keep the phone lines open for another 5 to 10 minutes at max. Then we're going to shut the phone lines down, and we're going to have a conversation with Kamus. We're going to have him call in and talk about what's going on with him in his world. And before we do so, we're going to play one of his tracks. He actually sent me a track today. I listened to it. It's a real feel-good track. If you are celebrating Halloween and you're doing something tonight, it's one of those things to put into your playlist and have a little fun with it. So I think we're going to go ahead and play that right now. So this is a track by Kamus, just getting you ready for him to call in and come on. So this is Pour Me Up by Kamus Leonardo. Let's go ahead and play that. something for you to dance to.
Shake what your mama gave ya. 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 Pull me up. Pull me up. Pull me up. Pull me up. Pull me up.
That was Pour Me Up by Kamus Leonardo, one of those tracks just to have fun with. Hey, I don't necessarily celebrate Halloween, not something I do, but if you're going out tonight and you're trying to get something to jive to run around to, that Pour Me Up track by Kamus Leonardo, that's the one you want to listen to. He's right here in the Triangle, something local for you to get ready for your evening. That's Pour Me Up by Kamus Leonardo. So, we're going to transition. We've been talking about Halloween and if you celebrate it or not, you like to trick or treat, you like to dress up or not. So we got that phone line open for the next 5 or 10 minutes or so while I kind of segue us into Kamus Leonardo. So if you got something to say, you might want to call in now. Otherwise, we're going to be closing that phone line down in just a second. So kind of switching gears into our guest, Kamus Leonardo. He's actually been on the show before, and today will be his second appearance, even though he's coming in via the phone. But one of the reasons we have him on again is because next week, he will actually be hosting this show. So this show, let's talk about this show and kind of make our segue into it. This is the RDU Live show, RDU Live radio show on Oak 93.5 WRLY. And I am your host, Cameron McCarty. All these things are true. But this show is presented and produced by McCarty Tech TV. McCarty Tech TV is a locally owned production company here in the Triangle. And as you can guess, I am said owner. And so one thing we're going to do is we're going to make a slight spinoff in addition to the RDU Live show encompasses it all. We're genre-less. And once again, we're comedians, we're poets, we're any type of artistry, businesses, nonprofits in the RDU that wants to be showcased. That's what we're here for. But we're going to create this concept. We're going to create another show that is closely aligned. It's going to be RDU Live Tapped In. RDU Live Tapped In. And Kamus Leonardo is going to grace us with his presence to be the host of that. And all this simply means is it's going to have a more urban feel for us. Kamus is a very, very unique individual, very special individual, and he has a pulse of the city. He's very in tune with what's going on, even more so than myself. Who could believe it? But even more so than myself. And so I want to grow this thing. I want to grow this brand. I want to grow this show. And the only way to do that is to bring in other people, to bring in another person who has a different skill set, who has a different audience, who can speak a different language than I can. And that's what Kamus does. Very articulate person, a very in tune person, a very smart person. And so we're going to bring him on the show, as in next week. Well, today, to have this conversation, to have this handoff moment. But next week, he will be the host. And then I'll be on after that. You know, I'm still here. But we're going to intermingle him in and figure out a cadence. And so he'll be another host of this show, of the RDU Live show, of the RDU Live brand. There's no secret that there's a strong nod to the jazz community on this show. There's a strong nod to the jazz community. And I'll still be heading that up. We're going to still have jazz musicians. We're still going to be in tune with the blues, with everything all around. We're going to bring Kamus on to really be in tune with what's going on in the streets, per se. They say the streets are talking, and I'm not really in that scene, but he is. He really has a good pulse. He's out in the community. He's doing work there, and so we're going to bring him in to do that. And so I'm actually going to cue him up here in just a second to call in. Let me actually get into some communication with him to get him to call in and have a conversation with us. But before then, we got about 2 or 3 more minutes. We got about 2 or 3 more minutes just to keep this phone line open, because once he calls in, we're going to shut the phone lines down for a period of time, just to have the conversation with him. And so to go to while I'm doing that, phone lines are open. But yeah, so the RDU Live radio show, going to make the spinoff for Tapped In, RDU Live Tapped In. But there's other components to this. We actually go out and make appearances at some local events, local venues, as in open mic nights or concerts, whatever might have you. We go in and make these appearances, and so if you're looking for that, if you're looking for the RDU Live show, we'd be happy to come out to your event. I think he's calling in now, or so we have a caller in general. So let's see what we got going on. Hello. This is the RDU Live show. I am Cameron, your host. Who am I speaking with?
You are speaking with Damien, a.k.a. Kamus Leonardo, a.k.a. Big Daddy Dames, 84.
Oh, all of the above. How's it going?
It's going good, man. How you feeling?
Feeling pretty good, man. Feeling pretty good. We got, I've been kind of teasing your call in, for about 30 minutes. We actually, we had Rachel, our fan favorite. She called in looking for you. You got people looking for you, man.
Are you serious?
Yeah, man. Rachel called in looking for you, man.
Oh, man. It's nice to be acknowledged, man.
No, it's nice that you came on, and agreed to have this conversation with us, man. How's your evening going?
It's going good. Over here at CARE, apparently we had UNC's dental clinic come in tonight. So my ride bailing on me actually worked out, because other than being there for that, so that they could use the building, a friend of mine, she's doing dance rehearsals in the dance studio as well. So it kind of worked out, but still a little bummed. But I mean, we here now, and that's what matters.
Oh man, we're here now. So let's can we kind of pause right there and talk about what you're talking about? So you said you're at CARE and UNC Dental Clinic. So what's CARE? So this is Kamus Leonardo. This is Damien, Kamus. He goes by so many names because he does so many things. And right now, you brought it up. So let's have the conversation about it. One of the things that Damien does is he is a part of CARE. CARE is a nonprofit organization based in Durham. And could you talk about CARE just a little bit for the people?
Yeah, so just to give a brief synopsis, so I'm a project manager here at a nonprofit called Healing with CARE, located off of 214 Broadway Street, Durham, North Carolina. It's pretty much a nonprofit that's dedicated to transforming lives here in Durham, man. Our mission is simple. We connect at-risk individuals and their families to vital health and social resources while breaking isolation, because it's easy to isolate to find those resources. But while making sure we don't isolate people, we're nurturing the independence as well by providing preventive health education, counseling, testing. We empower communities, So we also strive to ensure affordable housing. We're not going to go into that conversation because that's a whole nother one. Yeah. But it's for low to moderate income individuals. And, basically we're just trying to create a healthier, more connected and empowered community here in Durham, and, of course, worldwide. But we also offer services such as case management, HIV counseling and testing, transitional housing, job readiness, computer training and lab, food distribution, emergency food assistance, gym facilities, substance abuse treatment, HIV support groups, diabetes support groups, mental health services, Zumba, line dance, yoga, senior aerobics class, youth count. The list goes on, man. But
wow.
All in all, everyone has a role here at CARE.
Wow. And how long has CARE been around? Where did it kind of start at?
So it originated, I want to say over 20 years ago, man, by the founders Dr. Sharon Elliott Bynum and Pat Amici. They were sitting at the kitchen table, and they were like, hey, how can we give back? And I remember they started off, they rented a van, and, they were going around town, picking people up, doing blood tests. They had nurses from Central. They just used their network to just make things happen and, get people healthy and stuff. And long story short, we're here now.
Wow. Man, that's a noble cause, man. That's a noble cause. And I'm glad that, you're there and willing to pick up that torch and keep the torch going.
Yes, and to share, something with you, man, not to get too intimate, because, I say my 6 to 8 adjectives and stuff, right? But, nah, man, but my mother, she is actually the founder, and my aunt, Pat, was the founder, and my aunt now, Aunt Carolyn, she's the executive advisor now. So for the longest, man, as a kid, you don't know what's going on. You're like, your mom's like, hey, come to work with me. You like, oh, I got to go to work with you again, right? So as a kid, I'm not seeing what's going on around here. And then, unfortunately, my Aunt Pat, she passed in 2010, and my mother passed away in 2016. So when my mother passed away, I kind of just had this anger towards Kara because I felt like, well, dang, she served the community and gave so much of the world of her to where I barely even got the mother, right?
Wow.
So I had a lot of resentment until recently, man. It just led me to come here. All the accolades that I was doing, building my brand with Dames Worldwide, it was cool, man, but I had to come back home. You got to come back home and make it count, man. It doesn't matter wherever you go, everybody else. It's like that saying to where the whole world could think you're cool, but if the household, there's a disconnect there, what's the point?
Wow.
So, so just here back home, and it feels good because now with my aunt, I don't want to say her age because, we're not allowed to say.
Right. Don't do that. Don't do that.
You know what I mean? But, still kicking, still strong. But, she's tired.
Yeah.
And she's just like, hey, and we all have things in our things in our family to where circumstances kind of stop from people taking over or stepping up when needed be because, everybody has their own lives and stuff, which is understandable. Right. But, my aunt is tired, and she's just like, who am I going to give this to? So that's why I'm here. I'm not walking in here with entitlement every day. I'm just working, keeping my head down. But it worked out because now I have an office for Dames Worldwide here. They're letting me utilize the space, do whatever I want with it. So it's a win-win, Yeah. It's a win-win. And but I want to stick to the mission of care. I don't want to come in here and try to infiltrate and change what it is because we have to make sure we cover the basic needs, man. And that's just food, water, shelter. Like, our job is to be a stepping stone. There's so many people that came through here who transition to become even better in life and just to do and become the best versions of themselves. And that's one thing I can say about CARE, man. It's a team player.
Man, just hearing you talk is one of those things where I can hear the passion. I can hear the passion in your voice. And that's one of the things, that's kind of one of the places that you and I, every time we talk, whether it's on the radio or off, we always, meet in the middle with our passion about whatever we're doing. And and just for the listeners, I went over to CARE and just had a quick conversation and saw the place and Dame, he showed me around, and man, you used the word home. You use the word home, and my daughter was actually with me. She was half asleep, half awake, and she was so over it. But it just felt like one of those places.
No, she was me.
Yeah,
she was me when I was younger.
yeah. She was so over it, and but it felt like one of those places where you just want to be. It just felt like, man, this is dope. You got the murals on the wall, you got the nice flags and everything, and it's one of those places where it's not necessarily about. It's just like this newish shiny object. No, it's just authentic. it's an authentic thing. And so I really appreciated you allowing me to come in and see what you got going on and you know, kind of be a part of it, you know, able to talk about it on
you
this
are
show.
Part of it. That's why I said home, man. And I appreciate you for utilizing your platform to build awareness for things like this, man. It's rare that we have good, genuine people willing, you know, to showcase what's happening, right? But from all aspects. You're not one-dimensional. You've always been multi-dimensional. So thank you for allowing us to have the space to show the world and show people what we have going on, man. So thank you for even coming by and taking the time out of your day, because you didn't have to do that.
No, man, that's what we do, and I appreciate this, man. I appreciate this conversation. So one of the things, when I came by, it was on a Monday. It was on a Monday. What's something that you do? I think you got a couple things that you do weekly. So just give the people a little feel of what you're actively doing with CARE.
Okay, so first and foremost, I'm a very impulsive person. And when entering the nonprofit realm, that doesn't always work.
Right.
Right? So I had to learn how to utilize that methodical side in me, right? That structure, that calculated side in me, to where I had to break it down in increments and steps. So the first step that I'm working on right now currently is the food pantry. Every Tuesdays and Wednesdays, we give out food to the community from 10:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. So pull up here. We'll take care of you because it's real out here. So that's the first baby right now. After that, once we, get that finalized, get the structure for that solidified, then I'm going to work towards the veterans dormitory that we have downstairs to give people access to a living space. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of people that's been kicked out of their homes or that's been evicted.
Yeah.
And, it's real out here, right? So, like I said, that stepping stone. So, especially even our veterans, period, out here, man. They are treated like trash.
Yeah.
And it's sad. It's just like, okay, we have Veterans Day, we have all this performative stuff, but why is it that when I drive around and when I'm feeding these people, going to these people, talking to these people, and they're telling me they serve the country and that's how you treat them?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's going to be the next project. And then also we have the big space that I showed you. We use that space to rent out to the public. And based upon what I've seen and the research I've done, we have the best prices here in Durham to rent it out. There's a lot of venues that's not for us.
Right.
A lot of venues that's quick to exploit us, that's quick to, just be money hungry and don't care. No pun intended.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, those are my three babies right now. So that's what I got going on. Mind you, I still got the Kamus Leonardo, Artistry, Dames Worldwide, but I'm learning how to intertwine everything so it could all make sense versus stretching myself too thin, man.
No, and I appreciate you having me along the ride. And I think, just looking at it from an outside perspective, man, I think all the brands that you're growing are feeding each other. And I think, if you're looking at it from a very pure standpoint, your Dames Worldwide, your Kamus Leonardo, that's how I became, that's how I personally noticed you, right? And then it lends itself to now you're on this show talking about CARE. So it's all intertwined. It's all, I really want to highlight that because I want to highlight that for the audience, as a whole, not just for you and I, but just the whole network of it all. Whatever you might be doing, and you might think that this one thing it's not popping off, and I want to do this, and whatever the case is, keep going, stay consistent, and keep that network growing, and keep building, because one thing feeds another, and that's what we're trying to do.
Wow. That is beautiful. I hope you didn't get that burp I just did on mine, but thank you, man.
No, I think I talked over it a little bit. No, we good.
Okay,
we good.
Thank you. Good.
Yeah.
Because I was like, it was one of those that snuck up, and I was like, ooh, hold on. But no, for real. Thank you so much, Cam, for real. And that means a lot coming from you, man, for real. Because you're doing the same thing too.
Yeah.
So you're true to this. You're not new to this. So for you to even see that and see how it aligns with what you have, because we already talked about what we were going to do, offline, right?
Right.
But still, just even that, man, it's just cool to have people in your network that's in alignment with your purpose.
Right. That's a big word, man. That's a big word. Purpose. It's a big word.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So,
No.
thank you.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. So I kind of gave them right before you got on the horn with us, just a little preview that you'll be hosting next week. You'll be hosting the show next week, and we're going to be starting this new line of things. RDU Live Tapped In, and if you're listening to the show, or you know of an artist, or someone, having an event, having something you want us to come out and just kind of show our face and be a presence, let us know. Let us know.
Tap in.
Literally tap in. All puns intended. All puns intended. Yo, man, I appreciate you. I'm gonna let you go, and then I'm gonna close the show out, man. But I appreciate you. So if you're listening out there, Raleigh, wherever you might be watching from, next week, next Tuesday, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m., you're gonna have not Cameron McCarty, but you're gonna have Kamus Leonardo. Or how would you like them to address you on this show, on your show?
Daddy. Just kidding.
Hey,
you can call me Kamus Leonardo.
Hey, so I'll be out of town. I'll be down in Miami. I don't know what's about to happen on the RDU Live Tapped In show. I don't know what's about to happen, but look, man, I appreciate you, and we're gonna keep talking, man.
Yes, sir, man. Appreciate you, bro. Hold it down.
Hold it down. Take it easy.
How are you too?
Hello.
And hello. This is the RDU Live Show. I'm your host, Cameron McCarty, and you are live on the air. Who are we speaking with?
Hey, Cameron, this is Janet. How you doing?
Janet, doing good. Doing another fan favorite. Doing good. How you doing?
Yes. Doing good. Listen, so I heard earlier you talked about, the show having a slant towards jazz. For those of us who like jazz but don't know, where to go and listen to some good jazz, how can we find out more information about that?
Yeah, so definitely if you're on Instagram, there's a couple places you can follow that just have some general knowledge. One place is mine, McCarty Tech TV on Instagram. Another is the 6 Count Podcast, SIXCOUNT podcast. It's a podcast, and all they do is showcase jazz, especially in Durham. But I will tell you this is not necessarily a plug for any one place. There's a couple places that just in general have jazz sessions. So if you're on a Sunday and you're looking for brunch, you're looking for a nice brunch, Alley 26 in Durham from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m., they have live jazz. On Tuesdays, if you're a midweek person, on Tuesdays, I want to say they start at like 8. It's a speakeasy in downtown Durham once again. Kingfisher. So if you're listening right now, write it down. Write these places down.
I'm on it.
Kingfisher, very intimate, kind of low lit, very classy type place. They have jazz on Tuesday evenings. Okay, and Sundays is Alley 26. Just a general venue that will have jazz coming through is the Rialto in Raleigh on Glenwood. If you're looking for a Friday evening, another low lit, very classy place is a new place, Weldon Mills, WELDON Mills, Weldon Mills, in Durham. Another place that has they have jazz come through, but they have a lot of R&B. It's a very eclectic spot, especially for R&B and jazz. Is Watts and Ward in downtown Raleigh. Watts and Ward, WATTS and Ward, WARD. If you just generally check those places out, they're going to have music coming through, and it's going to be that jazz feel, that R&B feel to it. That's just a couple places to get you started. Once again,
That's awesome.
That those aren't plugs for those places in this particular conversation, but just to give you an idea of what's going on in the Triangle. Yeah. So if you're in Raleigh, Watson Ward is a pretty good one to keep your eye on. Another one, if you're looking for just kind of a chill place to go, you know, you don't have to dress up or anything. You just kind of go and enjoy some pizza or something. A place called Bowstring, BOW String, Bowstring.
Okay.
So I gave you a lot of places there. And if you're looking just for an aggregate of all these places, you can follow my Instagram, and I post what's going on at any given time.
Well, if somebody can put your Instagram in the comments, I'm gonna follow you, and then I'm gonna go there.
I just did it.
Thank you, Cameron.
Thank you for the question. Thank you so much, Janet. Hey, that's Janet fan favorite from Candid Conversations. I appreciate you.
All right, Cam. Listen, you have a good night, and I'll talk to y'all later. I'll be tuning in next week.
Thank you so much. Take it easy.
All right.
Yeah, so I gave a lot of information right there. So if you're listening and you weren't writing those down, once again, go back and watch the stream. But you can go to my Instagram page. You can also go to the 6 Count podcast. They have a lot of jazz that they showcase. Another place actually is, I think it's called the Sharp 9 Jazz Gallery. They are strictly jazz. That is a jazz, 100% jazz. That is a jazz. They actually do classes. I think it's Sharp 9 Jazz, I want to say. And they are, if you're looking for like go to a jazz show specifically that's hardcore jazz, that's where you want to go. They're in Durham. They're in the 27713 area code. So if you're familiar, Martin Luther King Drive area. But yeah, so as she mentioned, I got to wrap this show up. But as she mentioned, this show does have a strong nod to jazz, just because it's one of those kind of, in my opinion, underrepresented on the airwaves, underrepresented in popular culture. So just trying to get that and push it out. But yeah. So we're doing a spinoff. We're doing the spinoff to RDU Live Tapped In, hosted by, I'm gonna call him Kamus, or Damien. He's going to be hosting the show next week. I won't be here, so he'll be here. Stay tuned for that. I don't know what's going to happen. Hey, it's going to be a show, and it's probably going to be a good one because he is a very good host. He's a very good communicator, so that's going to be a fun time. Look, if you're an artist and you're trying to get on the show, you want to be showcased on something like this, you can always reach out to our email address. That's McCarty, McCarty@gmail.com, McCarty.TechTV. Just Google it, McCarty.TechTV. It'll come up with either our website or our Facebook page, our Instagram page, or something like that. Go to any one of those, type us a message, and we'll get back to you. Either me or Camus will be on the horn with you, and we'll get you on. We'll showcase some of your music. We got a couple people that are already booked. We got a lot of people that are already booked to come on and showcase what they got going on. So look, if you're out there and you want to be, you got to get on the calendar. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this show up. I appreciate you for tuning in, listening in. We're on every Tuesday from 6 to 7 p.m. right here on Oak 93.5 WRLY. I'm your host, Cameron McCarty, and this is the RDU Live Show. Take it easy.
traumas of my life. It's time to spread my wings and just fly. Woke up in the middle of the night. I don't let nobody see me cry. Reflecting on the traumas of our life. It's time to spread my wings and just fly. Dope art makes everyone smile. It's legit. Turn myself into a brand, so I gotta represent. Working as a server, trying to live off tips. I swear it's getting old, man. I almost said quit. My mama raised me better than that. At 8 years old, I was the man of the house. There's no enabling that. Used to watch cable and laugh. Fresh Prince on my TV, trying to follow that path. They telling lies through my vision. Cause learning how to be a man got difficult. I'm making sure I never settle for the minimum. I promise you it's deeper than the physical. Whatever you focus on becomes real as and you're allowed to outgrow whoever. They say that X marks the spot when I don't see no treasure. But whose map is it anyway? Now let me demonstrate. A breath of fresh air, time to ventilate. Woke up in the middle of the night. I don't let nobody see me cry. Reflecting on the traumas of my life. It's time to spread my wings and just fly. Woke up in the middle of the night. I don't let nobody see me cry. Reflecting on the traumas of our life. It's time to spread my wings and just fly. Hey mom, I need your help. I don't know how to heal. Been on survival mode for too long, now I can't deal. Lost a little confidence, looking for reassurance. I mean, I know I got it in me. My dreams becoming vivid. You told me never worry when I'm making my decisions. Knowing I'm not religious, you was still